did have a indication on radar that there was a tornado about 10 miles south of the airport, and at that point at 5 o'clock we issued a tornado warning based on that report.
The Weather Service also had a report from a cooperative observer in West Mesa of a funnel sighting in that area. The last confirmed tornado in the valley was in Glendale in September of 1981, causing damage and citywide power outages. There's no official report on this evening's storm. No one at this time is saying whether or not a tornado caused the damage throughout the city, but there are ways to tell.
We can go out and look at the damage pattern. I assume we will do that tomorrow.
And you can ascertain whether or not there's been a tornado or not?
Well, we can kind of get a good idea of whether there was any twisting motion to the clouds.
Earlier this year, I talked with Mr. Beam about a theory he had on the floodwater running down the Colorado River into Mexico. At that time, he said we could really be in for a wet monsoon season because of the additional moisture to the south of Arizona.
It's too early to pat myself on the back, but we surely have had a very active monsoon.
Now, is this more rain than we've had in a long time in Arizona?
This was probably a 5-minute and 15-minute record rainfall in this rain we had tonight.
Well, I think this is the picture you'd find at any airport this time of year. Every airport was jam-packed. And then you start throwing in those other little incidents like the snowstorms and the freezing conditions back east where flights are delayed, and maybe we've got 400 or 500 people who are waiting for a flight.
It is the busiest Christmas season ever at Sky Harbor, but that's just part of the big picture, one of ever-increasing crowds. 1982 saw 7.5 million passengers get on and off planes at the airport. 1983 will see about 8.7 million get on and off planes, and forecasts for next year show airport officials bracing for tremendous growth, 10 million passengers.
Every month seems to be a new record.
Is that right? Why?
I think it has a great deal to do with the economic condition of the country. People are flying, and it has something to do with the weather conditions back east. People are coming to the southwest to get out of the inclement weather.
Erickson also says the growth of low-fare airlines that a few years ago weren't even around Phoenix has led to new records. Southwest Airlines only started service last year in Phoenix. Today it has 38 departures daily, second only to Republic. The third largest carrier is America West, the Tempe-based airline that uses Sky Harbor as its hub. It offers 31 departures daily, yet has only been in business 5 months.
We have a total of about 750 employees, 600 of those here in Phoenix. These were people that weren't working here in Phoenix just 6 months ago.
How many people will you have in '84?
By the end of 1984, we will have well over 1,000 people working for America West in Phoenix.
Also, Northwest Airlines has more than doubled its service to Phoenix, along with moving to Terminal 3. And Continental, which had ceased service in September, comes back early next year.
Traditionally, students in Palo Verde East, West, and Main and Manzanita dorms have been asked to remove their cars from this parking lot during home football games. What's changed this year? That request has become a clause in their housing contract.
Oh, really upset about it. We all are, everybody here at the dorm. Just because we pay, this is our home, we pay $1,200 just for 4 months living here, and that entitles us to this parking space.
I think it's a big inconvenience for the students.
Sentiments about Saturday's season opener that many North Campus residents see as contributing to a devilish inconvenience. You see, for all home games, their cars must be removed from this lot to lots south of University Avenue so that boosters can park near the stadium. North Campus dorm leaders seeing this directive on their housing contracts believe it's more than an impish oversight by university administration.
They said that it was in there simply for information, and we looked at it more as a strict contractual obligation that the students had to fulfill. And this is where our problem developed. So any student who does park here technically could be ticketed.
After several meetings between dorm leaders and administrators, the problem has been deflated. Dorm leaders say they got a promise the clause will be taken out of next year's contract and that parking spaces will be guaranteed by security officers. They say women who may need their cars late at nights will have escorts provided. Meanwhile, Dan Devine of the Sun Angel Foundation says he's aware of the sacrifice the students are making, but the university is the benefactor in the long run.
The people that park in that lot, that's a lot of contention right now, pay tremendously inflated prices for their tickets. Some people as much as $500 per ticket. And that $500 just goes right straight to the university to be used for academic or athletic needs.
Devine will meet with dorm leaders next week in an effort to find solutions to the problem. Marcus Wright, News Center 10.
The idea of another ASU campus for the west side of the valley has been talked about for years, but the possibility is now much closer to becoming a reality. For one thing, the Tempe campus is now serving a record number of students.
We topped 40,000 this fall for the first time, and while I think it's probably impossible to determine precisely the maximum number that we can serve on this campus, all you've got to do is walk around at a busy hour to see how congested things really are.
While university officials admit the Tempe campus is becoming overcrowded, they say the main reason for having a campus on the west side is to serve the people living there.
We believe that the population west of Central Avenue is the largest population in the United States, which is not served by a full-service, four-year public institution.
But now there's a chance that may change. This state land, 340 acres of it, is in the process of being deeded to Arizona State as a potential site for a West Side campus. And the ASU Board of Regents has asked the legislature to approve $4 million to establish a permanent faculty and administration for a West Side facility. Requests for construction funds will be made later on.
The rest of what has to be done is simply the planning money and that kind of thing has to be allocated to ASU.
Senator Ann Lindeman has been a staunch supporter of a West Side campus for years. She says there's still a lot to be done, but she's optimistic.
People who represent other parts of the state and other parts of the valley aren't interested particularly in seeing the West Side have a campus. But I think there's enough of us who do care and do live and represent that area that eventually it will happen.
I hope that we will be in operation on that location with a physical facility by perhaps as early as 1987.
Jim Malmberg, News Center 10.
The superstition will now extend another 4 miles to the east from Val Vista to Power Road with exits at Power, Greenfield, and Higley Roads. About 150 people, many of them transportation officials and workers, showed up for today's dedication ceremonies held on the eastbound lane under the Val Vista overpass. Governor Bruce Babbitt told those in attendance that the extension reinforces the state's commitment to growth in the East Valley. Following his remarks, the governor climbed into an experimental car provided by General Motors and then drove through, actually under, a banner that was stretched across the freeway, officially opening this new section of the highway. The governor then, by the way, returned to Phoenix by helicopter. Compliments of Hughes Helicopters, which is a major employer out here in Mesa and will benefit from the freeway extension. 4 more miles of freeway dedicated today, but reality prevailed. The governor knows that the best way back to Phoenix in rush hour is by helicopter. Mayor Al Brooks about to join us live, the mayor among those in the celebration this afternoon. Mayor was supposed to be here a couple of minutes ago. I suspect perhaps he got tied up in traffic. Mayor, we're live. Can you join us very quickly? Mayor, this thing was a long time in the coming. 7 years ago when the funding dried up, you must have wondered if this ever would get built.
Bill, you were right. We were wondering if it would ever get built, but now that we're here to see it, we're sure glad. It's more than just a freeway. It's really a road to progress for the city of Mesa, and we're thankful for it.
Aside from the fact that the funding was dried up, that traffic now will be moving much more smoothly. What does this mean in real terms to East Mesa?
Well, economically, industrially, and progress is being made. It means that we're going to speed things up. It means that the freeway eventually is going to go further east. We know it's going to happen, and this is just a support for the growth and prosperity of the East Valley.
All right, Mayor Al Brooks, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. 4 more miles of freeway. Construction began in 1983. The cost, over $18 million for that 4 miles. And it now looks as though the superstition will stop cold at Power Road. No more plans in the works.
School children throughout Maricopa County have been having their fingerprints taken and recorded since earlier this year. The idea of Operation Child Identification is to have a child's fingerprints on file just in case they're ever needed.
Have everyone been fingerprinted? Great.
Today, at Fowler Elementary School in West Phoenix, Operation Identification was linked up with another program called Play It Safe to further protect the children. First through fourth graders were given coloring books that are filled with illustrations meant to teach the do's and don'ts of personal safety.
When you color the book and take it back to your classrooms and color, you'll be taking this back and learning that you should be just a little aware of your environment regarding strangers.
The Play It Safe book also warns about the dangers of matches, guns and knives, and medicines, as well as containing other safety precautions. The program, begun 5 years ago, has spread worldwide, and its chairman says it works.
Congress recognized it last year, and along with a joint association of the police officers, of saving 23 children's lives. Not because just the booklet, because of the communication it causes. When you get out and start communicating, and teachers start working with children and parents, then something's going to happen.
One person glad to see the Play It Safe program reach Maricopa County is Sheriff Jerry Hill.
I think it's a good program because I think it is another way that we may reach the children and the parents to keep them advised of the dangers that lurk around schools and public parks and playgrounds and things. And
the Play It Safe coloring books are to be distributed to the 50,000 school children already fingerprinted in Maricopa County, as well as all that are fingerprinted in the future. Jim Malmberg, News Center 10.
From the old cylinder to the 78 we knew as kids, to the longer playing 33, and now the digital disc.
The loading is extremely simple. Take the disc itself with the label showing, insert it and hit the close, and it automatically loads itself. The material on it, you've got a total of 60 minutes available on one side of this disc, and that's the way they're recorded right now.
The player projects a laser beam onto the disc to read out the digital signals recorded on it. Nothing actually touches the disc, so it doesn't wear out like a regular record. A plastic coating protects against scratching, and experts say the big advantage to the system is no distortion or background noise as you get with a turntable. At the touch of a button, you can select whatever song you want, and while the selection of available discs is increasing, they are still expensive, about $20 each. There are about a dozen companies making compact disc players, which will run you from $700 to more than $1,000. But the price is expected to drop quickly.
I kind of like to compare it to the calculator rage. When calculators first came out, they were approximately $129. The next year, they dropped down to $49 in price.
Salesmen say by next year, you may cut your investment almost in half. By 1990, they predict disc players will outsell traditional turntables, which will eventually be phased out.